Welcome down to another episode of Progress Not Perfect, a space that we gather every week to listen, to learn, and grow. Because every one of us who are here are on a journey to becoming the best version of ourselves. In today's episode, I am interviewing Kodi, popularly known as powerlifting Kodi. Kodi, welcome down to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jab. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to share some views and I'm excited to share a few words on how we all could grow together.
Sounds fabulous, Cody. Thank you so much. I know I'm taking time out of your day off and from the parts of the world that we are in. That's a lot. So we really appreciate your time.
Okay.
Cody, I'm just going to dive right into it. So I came across a post on your Instagram which said 6 times national powerlifting champion, national squat record, I think in the 105 kg weight class of 290 kg, national squat record in the 93 kg category of 271 kg. I can already feel my back hurting a bit. National total record in the 93 weight class of 699 kg. My back is broken already. National deadlift record of the 93 category at 281 kgs. Right, I need a moment to catch my breath from that. But what really caught my attention, Cody, is at the end of the clip, you said never gifted, earned it.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Everyone thinks that you need talent, you need to have all the resources to start something. It may be a public speaker, it may be the fact that you want to create your own business or you want to start up something. I mean, Jabba, you and I could both relate to this. When we started speaking in front of a screen, we didn't have Apple, we didn't have lighting, we didn't have perfect tripod stands. I started with the iPhone 7 Plus in front of a window. So what it means is the fact that you got to put in the work. Uh,
Mm,
a lot of people are comparing themselves all these Instagram filters and cool things on Instagram,
mm,
but there's a lot of hard work behind it. There's a lot of things people don't see you do. Like champions are cool when they take medals on top of a podium. It's very nice on TV, it's nice on social media, but it's a lot of pain, it's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of suffering. It's a lot of suffering day in and day out. Like I used to work 16 hours a day. There were days I only had time for one meal to earn money. For me, being physically tired was like I wanted to be physical tired. Like I used to tell myself I need more pain. Like I was embracing it. I was like, I knew that without pain, without suffering, there is no growth. And I'm not condemning, I'm not criticizing anyone, but what I want to tell is the fact that many of us are not gifted. You think I never I never saw myself being a powerlifter. I used to work in the finance field, and then I became an insurance broker, and then I became a sports manager. I used to go from house to house being a sales guy. I used to, I used to be on the road giving flyers. I was never a power lifter. My first salary was 12,500 bucks. 6,000 rupees was my gym membership. I had the balance. I don't know what I did from that. Maybe I was 18 years old when I started working my first job. The like I broke my leg in 2011, and even on crutches I used to go 3 floors up to the gym. This powerlifting Kodi, who's 6 times national champion, is a lot of hard work, is a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. Like I didn't have money to buy a gym membership at certain times, so it's about how bad I want it. And
mm.
my suffering, my pain, it doesn't matter for me anymore. Like I'll go through, if someone says, Cody, you work hard, I would say, no, I'm not working hard. I would do double that work. We are not gifted, Jabba. We are not gifted. We are not, we hard, we put in the work, Jabba. We took like if someone tells me like that's why even when I train not clients, but if I train athletes, I tell them there is a difference between a general human being and there is a difference between an athlete.
Mm, mm.
If you are an athlete, it's a different mindset.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a guy named Alex Hobozi who's pretty hot on the internet these days. Anyone who's into entrepreneurship would definitely have had come across him. And, he says that it's very simple. If you have goals, you need to understand that those goals have demands.
yeah,
And achieving those goals is as simple as do you meet those demands or not?
yeah,
And he says, we can sit down and talk about how it's hard and how it's difficult and how I have these reasons and this list of reasons as to why I can't do it, as to why it's difficult for me, as to why my situation is unique, why I'm different, and therefore I can't. Um, but he says at the end of the day, if you want to make more sales, regardless of you being sad or happy or in a good place or in a bad place, if your goal demands you to make calls in order to make sales, then you
yeah.
still have to make the calls because
That's
those
right.
calls don't care if you feel good or feel bad. And I want to be very clear, it's not to invalidate suffering and to invalidate the pain that people might be going through, because many people are suffering in many ways. But at the same time, when it comes to achieving your goal, next to
Yeah,
the will of the Almighty, it's going to boil down to actually putting in the work. And that's really what I heard you say, because we see powerlifting Kodi on Instagram and we see these, and now we see super high quality videos, which I assume you upgraded from your 7 of the iPhone, but that's progress as well. But we see these clips in these videos and this guy who's now moved to a new country, and you seem to be rocking the show even in this place. And it's easy in a snapshot for us to assume that, wow, this guy was brilliant, is brilliant, and will always be brilliant. But what you're really telling us is that behind those records, behind all of what we see on Instagram, there's a ton of work that's going in that we not only aren't seeing but cannot see, because obviously you don't broadcast your life 24/7 on Instagram. But what I really want to try to help the audience understand, Cody, is there's so many kids out there, so many young people out there who see people like you or other people that they might look up to on Instagram. And all they can see are those achievements and those moments. And I know for a fact that when I go through your profile, I can see you making an effort to remind people that this was not something that was given to you. It was not something you were just born with, which is amazing, because we see a lot of people portraying themselves on social media, which gives half a picture. And I understand no one can give the full picture, but at the same time, they don't make an effort to let people know, hey, there are times that I struggle. There are times that I'm down as well. There are times that I don't feel like doing things as well. But
yeah.
this is how I do it, and this is what it takes to get to where I am. And I see you as one of those few creators out there who make an attempt to actually update people on the reality of life and things that are happening. But for a person listening to this, Cody, who we're going to assume that this is somebody who has ambition in life, right? So
Yeah,
somebody who wants to achieve something. Maybe it's business, like you said before. Maybe it's a powerlifting career. Maybe
yeah.
it's to develop their relationship with their spouse, or maybe it's their career, something, or they're in a bad financial situation and they've got real ambition. They have that desire inside of them to not be average and not be ordinary.
Mhm.
With your experience and everything that you've achieved and helped even your clients achieve, Kudi, what might be a systematic procedure that you could advise, right? Roughly, say step 1, step 2, step 3, for
Yeah.
somebody to go from where they are with all of this ambition that they have to start moving towards the goal that they want to achieve. What might be some of those steps that you followed in your life? And then hopefully maybe they can kind of, walk the same path.
A lot of people like the one of the most common mistakes I've had in my past and is the fact that I was bad at my financials. I was bad at it.
What
I
do you
was
mean bad at financials?
I never knew how to work with my finances.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a credit card and I used to like I don't know why how I got it even I was working as insurance in insurance as a sales executive. My salary was around 25K per month, and I was offered 135,000 HSBC credit card. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, and I was 21. I was 21. I used to spend money on people who I didn't even know their names on after the next day. Okay. So this is one of the biggest mistakes I've learned, and this is like the best tip I still work on. I still work
Mm,
on it. It's called, if you want to buy it once, you need to save it twice.
mhm, mhm. Could you give us an example so that people are very clear on that?
Example is now, how would I say it? Okay, let's say that you want to buy a pair of AirPods. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What individuals do is, soon as they collect money of 100,000, let's assume it's 100,000, they buy the AirPod and they go back to zero.
Mm,
If you save it 200,000, you can afford to buy an AirPod. You still got something buffer.
okay, got it.
I mean, like, don't, whatever you have, just don't go haywire, don't go chaotic, and just buy the first thing you see in front of you. If you want to buy it once, you got to save it twice. This is like a financial rule I follow.
Right.
I follow this every day, even for my exams. If I want to do an online exam, even though I have the funds, I don't suddenly out of nowhere, I don't spend on it. I be
Mm,
patient, I save it twice, and then I go for the exam. Because yes, exams are important, but I need to make sure I spend my money wisely.
mm. I mean, I think that's a brilliant thing, Kodi, and I can understand why it's something that you probably still are working on because it's not something that's easy. But I mean, for the people out there who, I mean, we live in a world where everything is shoved in our faces, right? Marketing and Instagram and TikTok, and just even when you walk around, there's just so much of temptation, right? And
Yeah,
financial institutions in itself, like you said, have made it so easy. Like, how on earth did you approve 100,000 plus credit card for somebody whose monthly is only 25? Right.
yeah, yeah,
So they've made it so easy and convenient for people to fall into these traps. So
yeah.
how would you advise for somebody who is young, who has that kind of drive, like you said, to indulge and enjoy at that point in time, which is totally normal?
Yep.
How does someone actually cultivate that discipline to stop themselves from doing that? I mean, you said you did it by burning your hands, so you learned the hard way, right? But can we help someone else not burn their hands? Is there anything you can share to help them?
I think one of the best things I've learned is by failure. So I
Mhm,
know some individuals might be lucky to understand way before failing, but the best lessons for me in life was not when my bachelor's or not during I was in school. The best lessons I've learned is through failure. But
mm,
anyone out there needs to know, no one is gonna come to save you. You will have to save yourself. Because when I
mhm,
had 135,000 debt on my credit card, I took ownership of the fact that I messed up and I paid it in total. I paid it every month. I paid rupees 6,000 every month.
mm,
Like no one is going to come save you. You have to save
mhm,
yourself. Like one of the things is, people, they only like to be successful. They want to, I
mhm,
achieved this, I achieved that. They want to talk about the successful stories, but no one wants to
mm,
be all right with the failures. No one wants to talk about those, but those are the ones which builds us. It's the
mm,
failures which teaches us. So if you take a credit card, if you spend on it, none of your friends are going to come and say, feel sorry for you, oh my god, I feel sorry that you paid, here is the money. No one is
mm,
gonna feel sorry for you. No one is gonna give you any sympathy money. If I am in debt, if I messed up financially, it is because of my mistakes. It's because of my weaknesses. I can't blame anyone else.
mm,
It doesn't make sense, but you swipe the card, you spend money on people who you don't even know. If you don't put yourself first and understand how to save yourself, no one is going to come save you. No one is going to feel sorry for you. No one. So if you want to build a legacy, you have to do it day in and day out. And due to Instagram, or due, like you said, due to social media, TikTok, everyone thinks this success is shortcut.
mm.
it's way more painful.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking to you so far, I'm realizing that okay, one thing that people need to start understanding is that you have to take 100% accountability. That's something I picked up so far from everything that you said. Because whenever you're talking about your failures and the mistakes that you made, number one is you're acknowledging it's a mistake. You're saying, "Hey, I know that it was wrong. That I took a credit card that was out of my budget, and I bought things that I didn't know, didn't need for people that I didn't know." Right? That's step number one that you're doing, and then the second part of that is you're saying, hey, I accept that it is my fault. So you're not only saying that what happened is wrong, but you're saying, I take 100% accountability, rather than saying banks should know not to give kids or, people with a smaller salary, a bigger credit card, or saying, friends should not be people who exploit you and use. I never heard a single word in everything that you said that pointed a finger away from you. Everything that you said, you're pointing all of your fingers towards yourself. So the first thing I'm really hearing and learning, and I hope everyone who's listening is as well, is that you've got to take 100% accountability. And I really love that, because one thing that I mentioned to clients as well is, see, with taking accountability, there's a superpower that you gain, because for as long as you point the finger at somebody else, it
Yep.
also means that you're not in a position to change it. But the moment you point the finger at yourself, you are empowering yourself, because if it's your fault, hey, then you can do something to change it. But if
Yeah.
it was up to the bank, or if it was up to your friends, they may or may not. And that's not a very intelligent strategy to go by. Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I really love the fact that you put your hand up, you own up to the mistakes that you've made. And at the same time, not only own up, but you take accountability. Right. Now we understand that accountability and blame are two different things. Obviously, if somebody has been harassing you, or if somebody assaulted you, that's not your fault, but you can still take accountability for it. And I think
Yes.
that's a difference that people need to understand. Accountability doesn't mean that you take the blame, it means you take the responsibility to change it. And that
That is-
is really one of the most empowering things that we can do for ourselves. All right. So that was one thing I picked up. And the second thing that I picked up from what you said
Yeah.
was the importance of failure.
Yeah.
Right? The importance of failure. You said that the biggest lessons that you've had in your life were not the ones even that you paid money to learn in the bachelor's and whatnot, but the things that you learned the best from are the ones that caused failure. So, my first question is, do you think that in today's day and age, people are scared to fail?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, because I do see a majority, Jabba. Like the reason is like um maybe due to social media, maybe because
Mm-hmm.
everywhere you see on social media, on TikTok, and everywhere you see, it's always maybe how good through filters or cars or money
Mm,
or someone on a ship. And I mean, it's a cool thing to showcase your success. But what happens is, due to social media influence, I'm not saying social media is bad, because I have grown into a platform due to social media. It's the real deal. I am here because I
absolutely.
have
Yeah.
social media presence. So individuals do not use social media for the right reasons, but they tend to compare themselves. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. You could compare or you could work for it. To this factor, I think everyone is just scared that, okay, people will criticize, people, this whole what do you call due to adversity and condemning, they tend to compare. Due to these factors,
Yeah.
a lot of people doubt their success, or a lot of people are scared to try. A lot of people
Mm,
are like for me, like, to be honest, a lot of people told me, Kodi, try to do YouTube. And I'm like, trust me, my head is just full right now. My head is just right now. I've got no time. But there are a few people who spoke to me, Kodi, I want to start YouTube, but I don't have the lighting. I'm like, just don't think of it. Don't think of it. Just start. The thing is, you don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great.
mm, absolutely.
So it's just that maybe this a certain community or a certain generation of individuals are scared to start or scared
Mm,
to fail. how many people who are out there who fail so many times? How many?
Yeah, yeah.
Even how many Michael Phelps as a sportsman, Michael Jordan, how many people?
Mm,
It's just about how bad you want it. It's even McGregor. I know in regard to fighting, anyone doesn't like McGregor, but recently McGregor, when McGregor started fighting around I cannot recall the right time, but one of my colleagues told me McGregor one day he told that he will have 25 million in his bank account when he
mhm,
was
mhm.
when he was beginning his journey and everything. Yes, I'm not talking about him as a MMA fighter. I'm just referencing him as as an individual, where he said that he would make it happen. And
Mm,
finally, down the line, he made it happen. It may be certain wrong ways or whatever it is, but like as an individual, that he made a statement. He made a
mm.
statement that he will do it.
Yeah,
And I think you speak about UFC, everyone knows about McGregor if you
for
talk about
sure.
UFC.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's about if you like, one person said there is no success without suffering. So, if you're not
Mm.
willing to suffer, you don't deserve success.
I mean, yeah, Cody. To your point about Conor McGregor or anyone for that matter, I think a common mistake that a lot of us make is we try to generalize people as good or bad and successful or failures, right? Whereas in reality, everyone's a human and everyone has imperfections, whether they show it or not. And I think as students of life, our objective should really be to learn what's good and to learn what's not and adopt
Yeah,
what's relevant to us and move on, right? Judgment is for God. He'll decide who's going where at the end of all of this.
perfect.
But our job is if I can look at Kodi, there are 9 things I like about him. There's one thing I don't like about him. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fine. Doesn't mean I hate Kodi. Or even vice versa. Maybe I like one thing about Kodi and I don't like 9 things about him.
that is
That's
right.
fine. I still learn that one thing from Kodi, right? And I move on and in his own space, in his own time, if he
Yeah,
wills, he will correct that. And that's none of my business, right? So I think that's a
yeah,
very valid point you made about it. And we can even learn from people who might not be considered to be iconic people in society or
yeah,
there are still things that you can pick and choose and learn. I think another great hot example in today's day is Andrew Tate. Like there's a lot of mixed opinions and views about him, but there are some things you just got to give it to him. Like
yeah, yeah,
his ability to put himself out there, speak his mind out. We're not even talking about is what he's saying right or wrong, right? But that confidence that he carries. If we can learn that confidence and then apply it to something that we consider to be good, it's definitely going to be something that's good for us. So I
yeah,
think that's a very valid point that you made. Like we should stop categorizing people as blatantly good or bad and rather see what can I learn from them, either to do or not to do.